Hello, my name is Catherine, and today I will be exploring the strengths and challenges of 6 different learning spaces. The first learning space we'll be looking at today is the personal. And one strength of the personal learning space is that it promotes diversity and independent thinking. This is through self-reflection, which allows students to reflect on what they're learning to consolidate their understanding. Another strength is that it encourages students to express their individual learning styles, which again promotes diversity and emphasises the importance of being able to observe our own learning and express ourselves in our own unique way. A challenge of the personal learning space is that teachers often need to cater for a range of different learning styles and needs. It can sometimes be difficult for teachers to understand how each student learns and the best way for them to reflect on that learning. Another challenge is that students are primarily in charge of their motivation. If a student is having difficulty with finding the desire to learn, it is up to them to find their motivation. There is only so much a teacher can do to help them. An approach that teachers can look at when faced with the redevelopment of a learning space is simply to question the students to promote self-reflection. How do they learn best? What are their strengths and weaknesses? What do they find most enjoyable about learning? The next space we'll be looking at is the classroom and school. One strength of this space is that teachers have the option to design the classroom to suit the needs and preferences of the students in their class. The aesthetics of the classroom must be able to stimulate learning. Another strength is that students can get to know the space that they're learning in and use this to their advantage. Attributing different areas within the classroom to different curriculum areas to create familiarity and routine can make students comfortable within their classroom and school learning spaces. A challenge of this space is creating a classroom design that will benefit all students and accommodate diversity. Considering student opinions to create a classroom design is important, as adult perspectives are often very different to children's. Ultimately, they are the ones who are going to be doing most of the learning in the classroom. Challenges within open plan learning spaces include coordinating ideas and teaching styles with staff, and learning to deal with different distractions that may arise within the open setup. Behaviour management strategies are especially important in these environments. A consideration for this space redevelopment includes utilising the materials within the space to motivate and inspire students. Creating a classroom checklist can be one way for teachers to make sure that their design is appropriate to their class and that they have included all necessary components. What works well? What doesn't work well? What do the students want? The next space I'll talk about is the Beyond the Classroom, and one strength of this space is that it helps to promote classroom discussion and get students excited about what is being taught. Engaging and exciting lessons can be planned that are based on experiences beyond the classroom. Another strength is that it allows students to experience learning outside the classroom and relate that learning to real-world experiences. American social theorists Slave and Wenger acknowledged that the learning process is enhanced when information is presented in context. Teachers must be organised and prepared for learning beyond the classroom. It can sometimes be challenging for teachers to coordinate excursions or incursions with other class or school programs, and therefore planning must start early. Another challenge is that some students may not be comfortable with leaving the familiar setting of the classroom. The thought of exploring new environments can leave students feeling anxious, and therefore venturing beyond the classroom may be a disruption to their learning. Approaches to space redevelopment include planning excursions and incursions based around content areas and classroom or school timetables. This means that learning beyond the classroom must be planned early and efficiently in order to make sure requirements are met. Observing how other schools coordinate this learning space can be helpful during redevelopment. One strength of the group collaborative and cooperative space is that teachers are able to narrow the achievement gap through student collaboration. Peer-assisted learning strategies, or PALS, can help students of different levels consolidate their understanding through teaching and or listening to their peers. This space also makes students responsible for others' learning as well as their own. It promotes participation, teamwork, and friendship between students. Important skills can be learned through participation in group tasks, for example, reaching agreements and acknowledging differing opinions. Controlling and coordinating student behaviour can often be difficult for teachers when students are participating in group learning tasks. Teachers need to be aware of how students work together, which students work well, and which students distract each other. It can be difficult to monitor whether or not students are staying on task. Some students are not as confident as others when it comes to sharing thoughts and ideas. These students may struggle to find a voice during discussions, and the thought of being put in these situations can cause some students to feel anxious. A strategy for teachers to use when redeveloping this space is to consider and reflect on their own experiences with collaboration. Their own perspectives and strategies used in team teaching can be used in the classroom when group tasks are set to guide student collaboration. What works in group settings and what doesn't? Number 5 is the eSpace. A strength of the eSpace for teachers is that it gives us unlimited access to resources at the touch of a button. Planning engaging lessons is made easier with access to millions of educational videos, games, worksheets, and any other resources that may be valuable to teaching. In this day and age, children grow up with technology, and most students these days are comfortable and confident with accessing online content and navigating the web. Students are able to acquire strong research skills through technology. Enforcing rules and restrictions for online use is important when it comes to monitoring how students are using technology. Students can often get distracted by things that they see online, leading to a disruption of the learning process. Although lots of students are confident with using technology, there are still students who find navigating an eSpace unfamiliar and difficult. Teachers will need to give extra attention and assistance to these students. When redeveloping an eSpace, it is important to make sure all teachers are up to date with technology and how to use it. Staff meetings and seminars may need to be held to ensure that teachers know what they're teaching, and it is also important that student opinions are considered. Using poll software such as Kahoot can allow students to have their say about learning online. The next space is the liminal, and a strength is that it is a creative space where transformation takes place. Fresh ideas and new perspectives can be gained within this space, and it encourages students to be persistent and resilient with their learning. Another strength is that progress through this space may be exhilarating for both teachers and students. When a student challenges themselves enough to consolidate their understanding of a topic and further think beyond what has been taught, can be seen as a big achievement in the learning and teaching process. Students with low confidence or anxiety may have difficulty progressing through this space. It is easy for these students to get stuck in this space, and this can stunt their learning. It is often difficult for teachers to know when a student is in this space. Some students may not seek assistance when they are in this stage and may prefer to just give up. It is important for teachers to encourage students out of their comfort zone and into a space of learning. When addressing approaches for space development, it is important that we remember to teach for progress and development and not just achievement. Pushing students beyond the achievement standard is important for optimal learning. When engaged in a lesson, teachers must ask students challenging questions to prompt discussions about their learning. This can help to push students further to deepen their understanding of a task.